Good afternoon from London. It's me, Hello Spencer here. Hello Spencer. Here to, we're going to do some Bible reading, some Bible study, two-way, So I'm really happy to be here this afternoon. For me, coming to you. This is not a usual time for me. I've got a few days off of work for the moment. And I just thought I'm going to utilize it to speak to you, to do some Bible reading, and to interact. Because this is how much this means to me. That I'm really more than happy to take up leave my holiday space and come to you live from London. Today is the 28th of August, 2026. For me, it's the last month of summertime, and I kind of noticed some changes in the weather. It's getting darker a bit earlier. It started raining. Evenings are a bit cooler. I'm not complaining because I do really enjoy the sunshine. It was quite intense this year, but, what can we do? It's worldwide, apparently. I wonder what it was like in the tropics, though, because if you've ever been to the tropics, it's always like 29, I'm talking in degrees here, centigrade, right? So it's always about 29, 30. It doesn't go below 20, even in the evenings. It does not go below 20 degrees. In the tropics that I'm familiar with, if it goes less than that, it's like, what's going on? So, normal for them, but just going off topic a little bit, it takes the body some time to adjust to the heat and to the sweat, okay? Because if I kept on sweating the way that I do when it gets really hot, I just sort of, dehydration, so it takes some time for the body to get used to it so you don't sweat as much. Unfortunately, by the time the body gets used to it, then the weather's changed again. But for me, this year, I'm very comfortable now. And even though it was still hot over the last few weeks or so, I didn't feel it as badly as I felt it right at the beginning. So the body always adapts. Isn't it amazing the way the Lord has created our bodies and how the bodies can adapt to literally any environment? I mean, obviously, extremes, too hot or too cold, you have to be careful. But the body is an adaptable tool, just like the mind, So we don't think the way we thought when we were kids, do we? Well, I hope we don't. We see certain things differently. Personalities and things like that. I mean, I can still see the personality of people who I knew when I was growing up and who were like 4, 5, 6 years younger than me. I could still see that personality in them. But I'm talking about ways of thinking, ways of doing, ways of behaving. And as time goes by, as we learn, as we socialize, as we become civil, our outlook changes. And that's what the Word of God should do. Because we were all born in what? In sin. The Bible tells us that. Okay? So we've got to come out of that nature that is in us. We've got to come out of it because we know what we're doing wrong. Because when Eve ate from the apple, that was from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So we know what's good, we know what's evil, no excuses there. Okay, so we just have to move from the evil to the good. Okay? And worship the Lord, bask in his glory, and hold his name in reverence. Because think about it, if we don't hold the Lord's name in reverence, whose name will we be holding in reverence? Who's the God of the years? Who's the God of this world? Look at the world currently. This is the 28th of August. Do you want me to go through the news stories? Some people say we're probably on the brink of nuclear war, but they've been saying that since I was born. Okay, but we do have wars going on in major hot areas in the world that can spark into major issues for everybody. Because right now, let's just dive a little bit into this. There's a possibility of famine, not because of the weather changes, not because the plant was bad or the crop, the yield was bad, but because of man's decisions. Okay? I'm not apportioning in blame, but because of man's decisions, people in the world may starve later on this year. People in the world may go without heating later on this year. People in the world will face increased prices later on this year. Inflation later on this year, where salaries have remained generally static over the last decade. Because of inflation, there's been no increase in income in real terms. All right, these are all man-made issues. Okay? There's a lot of chatter about this and about that and about this leader and that leader and who said this and who said that. But people are dying at the moment through what? Man's decisions. Okay, the word of the Lord is about love. It's about peace. It's about harmony. Okay? So, we have to operate in the environment that we're in. We can't be ignorant. We can't afford to be stupid. Okay? But we are told to mind your own business and live a quiet life. And I must admit, I laugh to myself. Oh, my recorder. Keep on forgetting that. I must admit, I do mind my own business now. I do. I used to be a bit of a, I used to be able to hold my own in conversations. Well, generally more than hold my own. I was quite a fearful opponent if you wanted to get into an argument with me, be that, not necessarily, if you want to get into an argument, if you wanted to prove something, or even if it was on another basis, I could defend myself verbally. And I had many things that I could pick up on based on my experience and based on my knowledge. All right? So it's like, now I just can't really be bothered to be discussing those things about politics, about this and about that, just general stuff. When I look back, I said to myself, what a waste of time. I even had somebody say to me, and I hope that they can watch this because they will know who they are. Years ago, I think I was a teenager, and we were discussing something, not having an argument. I wasn't arguing, I discussed things. And I keep my voice at an even level. But people, I notice, get worked up and they take it personal. But I've never done that, because even if I lose a point, I'm willing to accept that I was wrong. I don't mind. I take it as a learning process. But I was in with one of these personalities that I used to know, and they said to me, the encyclopedia that you're reading and that you're getting your knowledge from is wrong. I said to myself, who are you to say that the encyclopedia is wrong? You literally don't know anything. The things you know them from me. And now you're telling me that the encyclopedia that I read from is wrong? And this wasn't on a topic about genetics or history that can be played around with, like Darwinism and dinosaurs. No, this was just a general knowledge type of discussion that we were having. And because he had lost that argument, he now said, well, your encyclopedia is wrong. So what, am I wrong or is the encyclopedia is wrong? Because if you say that I'm wrong, that's cool. But you cannot say the encyclopedia is wrong. So I looked at this fellow and I thought, do you know what? From this day going forward, I'm not going to have this kind of discussion with you again. We're just going to talk about general things. I never told him this, but I just said, no. You're not the kind of person that I feel the need to have these kinds of discussions with. You're taking it personal. You're just going to the next level. So I thought, no. And I was 17 then, and I knew this guy for quite some time after that. But I stuck to my rules of engagement with him. And subsequently, I'm really happy that I did. So our conversations all over those years, people got married, children were born, children were growing up, people gotten divorced. That's the period that I'm talking about, from a teenager to that level. I kept my rules of engagement with him. And I'm happy that I did. Because I said, look, I want to discuss an issue. I don't want to be insulted, or neither do I want you to get upset if you feel you've lost the argument, which is quite strange, really, because it's just a discussion. But coming back to where we are, there are lots of things going on in the world, and I've just been told that we should stock up on canned food and water. I'm not joking. Seriously, it's a government announcement. So the main reason, though, why I logged on, I do have shows where I speak generally and where I relate what's happening to the Bible and just speak on a general basis. This is not one of those shows, so I just want to come back to why I'm live streaming right now, and that's to go through Leviticus chapters 21 to 24. A few hours ago, I read chapters 16 to 20, and now we're going to go through, as I said, chapters 21 to 24. Please, if you haven't looked at the 16 to 20 chapters, do watch them. It's available on YouTube and on Rumble and on Odyssey. Not yet, because I'll have to update my Odyssey account, but it's available right now as I'm speaking on the 28th of August 2026. You can watch that show on YouTube and Rumble. If you're on Twitch, you can still watch it now for the next 7 days. If you want to watch it on another medium, you've got the link to my YouTube channel. Everything is titled Halo Spencer. I want to thank you, the guys on, I've got some guys on Rumble and I've got some guys on Twitter. As usual, no love from YouTube. This is for you guys. I just love pressing that button. I said welcome to some other days. Friday, weekend tomorrow, Sabbath day for some people, Saturday or Sunday, even today. When's your day of rest? It's important. The Lord said we should observe the Sabbath. Try to observe it. It's lovely to have a day where you can just rest and contemplate and continue later on for the rest of the week. Right, why don't we just dive into chapter 21, Leviticus, and see what the word has to offer us. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say to them, a priest shall not defile himself for the dead amongst his people, except for his relatives that are near to him, for his mother, for his father, for his son, for his daughter, for his brother, and for his virgin sister who is near to him, who has no husband, for her he may defile himself. He shall not defile himself, being a chief man amongst his people, to profane himself. They shall not shave their heads or shave off the corners of their beards or make any cuttings in their flesh. They shall be holy to their God and not profane the name of their God, for they offer the offerings of the Lord made by fire, the bread of their God. Therefore they shall be holy. These are instructions to the priests, as you know, we can tell, on how they should conduct themselves in their lives, in their interactions with people, and how they should speak. They shall not marry a woman who is a prostitute or profane. A priest shall not marry a woman divorced from her husband, for he is holy to his God. Therefore you shall sanctify him, for he offers the bread of your God. He shall be holy to you, for I, the Lord who sanctify you, am holy. The daughter of any priest, if she profanes herself by playing the prostitute, she profanes her father, she shall be burnt with fire. He who is the high priest amongst his brothers, upon whose head the anointing oil is poured, and who is consecrated to put on the garments, shall not let the hair of his head hang loose or tear his clothes. He must not go into any dead body or defile himself for his father or for his mother. He shall not go out of the sanctuary, nor profane the sanctuary of his God. For the crown of the anointing oil of his God is upon him. I am the Lord. He shall take a wife in her virginity. He shall not marry a widow or one divorced or a woman who has been defiled or a prostitute. He shall take a virgin of his own people as a wife. He shall not profane his offspring amongst his people, for I am the Lord who sanctifies him. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Say to Aaron, none of your offspring throughout their generations who has a defect may approach to offer the bread of his God. For whatever man he is that has a defect, he shall not draw near a blind man or a lame, or who has a flat nose or any deformity, or a man who has an injured foot or an injured hand, or hunchbacked, or a dwarf, or one who has a defect in his eye, or an itching disease or scabs, or who has damaged testicles. No man of the offspring of Aaron, the priest, who has a defect shall come near to offer the offerings of the Lord, made by fire. Since he has a defect, he shall not come near to offer the bread of his God. He shall eat the bread of his God, both of the most holy and of the holy. He shall not come near to the veil, nor come near to the altar, because he has a defect, that he may not profane my sanctuaries, for I am the Lord who sanctifies them. So Moses spoke to Aaron and his sons, and to all the children of Israel. Who are the priests of today? Who are they? Would they come under the people like the Pope, the Archbishop of Canterbury? I'm not sure who the names are of the people in the Eastern Orthodox Church, so I won't even try to attempt to recall their official titles? Are they like the pastors, the reverend fathers of the various Christian denominations? Are they like what do they call themselves? Vicars, ministers, and such like? Well, in the New Testament, we are told how these people are meant to conduct themselves, aren't we? So, one way, if you are a churchgoer, that you can check is to read the Bible and see what we're told by the Lord, because these men who wrote the Bible were inspired by God. And see, what does the Lord say a deacon should behave? What does he say about other people who are leaders in the church? And you can read it and see if they conduct themselves in this way. I don't need to tell you whether or not they do. You who attend the churches, or you who know them, or you who observe them, can read it and tell for yourself. Because as we're told, the fruit does not fall far from the tree. So if they are true representatives of the Lord, they will be carrying out his word and conducting themselves in the way that the Lord has told them to conduct themselves. But if they're doing the opposite, then they're representing something else. Because these rules and regulations are not difficult. They're easy. They're moral. It doesn't take any difficulty for an individual who's inspired by God to carry out the Lord's ordinances, statutes, instructions, and commandments. Okay, I just thought I'd just say that, just so that you can read the Lord's word and make these conclusions for yourself. And from there you can say to yourself, am I in the right place? Am I in the right community? Okay, it's very important that one is, there's the word, that one is observant, discerning, and discerning. Okay, so that you can distinguish between what is going on here and make your own mind up. All right, so let's move on to chapter 22. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Tell Aaron and his sons to separate themselves from the holy things of the children of Israel, which they make holy to me, that they not profane my holy name. I am the Lord. Tell them, if any one of all your offspring throughout your generations approaches the holy things which the children of Israel make holy to the Lord, having his uncleanness on him, that soul shall be cut off from before me. I am the Lord. Whoever of the offspring of Aaron is a leper or has a discharge shall not eat of the holy things until he is clean. Whoever touches anything that is unclean by the dead, or a man who has seminal emission, or whoever touches any creeping thing by which he may be made unclean, or a man from whom he may become unclean, whatever uncleanness he has, the person that touches any such shall be unclean until the evening, and shall not eat of the holy things unless he bathes his body in water. When the sun is down, he shall be clean, and afterward he shall eat of the holy things, because it is his bread. He shall not eat that which dies of itself, or is torn by animals, defiling himself by it. I am the Lord. They shall therefore follow my commandment, lest they bear sin for it and die in it. If they profane it, I am the Lord who sanctifies them. No stranger shall eat of the holy thing. A foreigner living with the priest or a hired servant shall not eat of the holy thing. But if a priest buys a slave purchased by his money, he shall eat of it, and those who are born in his house shall eat of his bread. If a priest's daughter is married to an outsider, she shall not eat of the heave offering of the holy things. But if a priest's daughter is a widow or divorced and has no child and has returned to her father's house as in her youth, she may eat of her father's bread, but no stranger shall eat any of it. If a man eats something holy unwittingly, then he shall add the fifth part of its value to it, and shall give the holy thing to the priest. The priest shall not profane the holy things of the children of Israel, which they offer to the Lord, and so cause them to bear the iniquity that brings guilt when they eat their holy things, for I am the Lord who sanctifies them. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and to his sons, to all the children of Israel, and say to them, whoever is of the house of Israel, or of the foreigners in Israel, who offers. I just want to say something here. Whenever the Lord makes these ordinances, whenever he's telling Moses to tell Aaron and the children of Israel, many of the times he mentions that this also applies to the foreigners who live in Israel. And I'm thinking, because if the laws don't abide to them, what would they be doing? Would they be doing their own thing that they were doing before they resided in Israel, or before they became part of the Israeli community? And that will sort of like bring inconsistencies, and they may be influencing the Israelis or the Israelites with their own bad behavior. All right, so the rules apply to everybody, to the Israelites and to the foreigners that reside amongst them. Verse 18, Speak to Aaron and to his sons and to all the children of Israel, and say to them, whoever is of the house of Israel or of the foreigners in Israel who offers his offering, whether it is any of their vows or any of their free will offerings, which they offer to the Lord for a burnt offering, that you may accept, you shall offer a male without defect of the bulls, of the sheep, or of the goats. But you shall not offer whatever has defect, for it shall not be acceptable for you. Whoever offers a sacrifice of peace offerings to the Lord to accomplish a vow, or a free will offering of the herd or of the flock, it shall be perfect to be accepted. It shall not have defect. You shall not offer what is blind, is injured, is maimed, has a wart, is festering, or has a running sore to the Lord, nor make an offering by fire of them on the altar to the Lord, either a bull or a lamb that has any deformity or lacking in his parts, that you may offer for a free will offering, but for a vow it shall not be accepted. You must not offer to the Lord that which has its testicles bruised, crushed, broken, or cut. You must not do this in your land. You must not offer any of these as the bread of your God from the hand of a foreigner, because their corruption is in them. There is a defect in them. They shall not be accepted for you. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, when a bull, a sheep, or a goat is born, it shall remain 7 days with its mother. From the 8th day it shall be accepted for the offering of an offering made by fire to the Lord. Whether it is a cow, a ewe, you shall not kill it and its young both in 1 day. When you sacrifice a sacrifice of thanksgiving to the Lord, you shall sacrifice it so that you may be accepted. It shall be eaten on the same day. You shall not leave none of it until the morning. I am the Lord. Therefore you shall keep my commandments and do them. I am the Lord. You shall not profane my holy name, but I will be made holy amongst the children of Israel. I am the Lord, who makes you holy, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord. Well, that seems quite clear to me. The instructions that they had to abide by are pretty clear. So very interesting, I think. And I've mentioned this in the previous Leviticus chapters that I've read, but initially I was of the view that, oh, this is all kind of like laws that in some places have been superseded by the birth of Christ. And is there any need to read them and to go through them? Why don't we just jump the chapter? I'm so happy that I didn't, because there's so much wealth of knowledge to learn here. There's so much of interest, especially in the days, the times that we're living in now. And I use that word especially sort of lightly, because the word of the Lord is constant and it applies at whatever time it has been read, be that when Moses was writing it, be that when our great-grandparents were born, or be that in the time that we are now living. The word of the Lord is constant and it applies at any time. It's always relevant. It's like no other book that I've read, you know. So it's quite amazing, to be totally honest. Chapter 23. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel and tell them the set feast of the Lord, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my set feast. 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day is a Sabbath of solemn rest, a holy convocation. You shall do no work, you shall do no kind of work. It is a Sabbath to the Lord in all your dwellings. These are the set feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in the anointed seasons, in the first month, on the 14th day of the month of the evening. It is the Lord's Passover. On the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread to the Lord. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. In the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no regular work, but you shall offer an offering made by fire to the Lord 7 days. In the 7th day it is a holy convocation. You shall do no regular work. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel and tell them, When you have come into the land which I give to you, and shall reap its harvest, then you shall bring the sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest to the priest. He shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. On the next day after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. On the day when you wave the sheaf, you shall offer a male lamb without defect, a year old, for a burnt offering to the Lord. The meal offering with it shall be 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil, an offering made by fire to the Lord for a pleasant aroma. And the drink offering with it shall be of wine, the fourth part of a hin. You must not eat bread or roasted grain or fresh grain until this same day, until you have brought the offering of your God. This is a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. You shall count from the next day after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering. 7 Sabbaths shall be completed. The next day after the 7th Sabbath, you shall count 50 days, and you shall offer a new meal offering to the Lord. You shall bring out of your habitations 2 loaves of bread for a wave offering made of 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour. They shall be baked with yeast for first fruits to the Lord. You shall present with the bread 7 lambs without defect, a year old, 1 young bull, and 2 rams. They shall be a burnt offering to the Lord. With their meal offering and their drink offerings, even an offering made by fire, or a sweet aroma to the Lord. You shall offer 1 male goat for a sin offering, and 2 male lambs a year for a sacrifice of peace offerings. The priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits for a wave offering before the Lord. With the 2 lambs they shall be holy to the Lord for the priest. You shall make proclamation on the same day that there shall be a holy convocation to you. You shall do no regular work. This is a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. When you reap the harvest of your land, you must not wholly reap into the corners of your field. You must not gather the gleanings of your harvest. You must leave them for the poor and for the foreigner. I am the Lord your God. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, there shall be a solemn rest for you, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, a holy convocation. You shall do no regular work. You shall offer an offering made by fire to the Lord. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, However, on the 10th day of this 7th month, in the day of atonement, it shall be a holy convocation to you. You shall afflict yourselves, and you shall offer an offering made by fire to the Lord. You shall do no kind of work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make atonement for you before the Lord your God. For whoever it is who shall not deny himself in that same day shall be cut off from his people. Whoever does any kind of work in that same day, I will destroy that person from amongst his people. You shall do no kind of work. It is a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It shall be a Sabbath of solemn rest for you, and you shall deny yourselves In the 9th day of the month at evening, from evening to evening, you shall keep your Sabbath. Let me just go to verse 32 again. So, let me just go to 30. Whoever does any kind of work in that same day, I will destroy that person from amongst his people. You shall do no kind of work. It is a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It shall be a Sabbath of solemn rest for you, and you shall deny yourselves. In the 9th day of the month at evening, from evening to evening, you shall keep your Sabbath. I just wanted to check something there, if that was instructions on like the Sabbath day or if it was something else. But if I'd have to go back, I think it was not a normal Sabbath day that you have once every 7 days. It's a Sabbath that reflects another feast, I believe. So, I could be wrong. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the... That's verse 33, chapter 23. The Lord said to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel, and say, on the 15th day of this 7th month is the feast of booths for 7 days to the Lord. On the first day shall be a holy convocation. You shall do no regular work. 7 days you shall offer an offering made by fire to the Lord. On the 8th day shall be a holy convocation to you. You shall offer an offering made by fire to the Lord. It is a solemn assembly. You shall do no regular work. These are the appointed feasts of the Lord, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire to the Lord, a burnt offering, a meal offering, a sacrifice, and drink offerings, each on its own day, in addition to the Sabbaths of the Lord. Gotcha, in addition to the Sabbath, so it's separate. And in addition to your gifts, and in addition to all your vows, and in addition to all your free will offerings, which you give to the Lord. So on the 15th day of the 7th month, when you have gathered in the fruits of the land, you shall keep the feast of the Lord 7 days. On the first day shall be a solemn rest, and on the 8th day shall be a solemn rest. You shall take on the first day the fruits of majestic trees, branches of palm trees, and boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook, and you shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days. You shall keep it as a feast to the Lord 7 days in the year. It is a statute forever throughout your generations. You shall keep it in the 7th month. You shall dwell in temporary shelters for 7 days. All who are native born in Israel shall dwell in temporary shelters, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in temporary shelters when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. So Moses declared to the children of Israel the appointed feasts of the Lord. Right. I actually just had to check there. I thought I was reading up to chapters 23. But no, we're on chapters 24. And that has gone quite quickly. Those are very interesting. Well, chapter 23 was quite interesting. Those feasts, just like any feast, I suppose, they kind of keep you in communion for the reasons outlined, which the Lord said for the native born of Israel shall dwell in temporary shelters, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in temporary shelters when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. So it's like a recollection for the people through the generations, for them to remember what the Lord done for their forefathers. Because as human beings, we tend to forget things quickly. And also, to be honest, take things for granted, you know? So it's always good to have a recollection of who you are, where you come from. Especially, not that you would need it, but you know, especially if you're a chosen from the Lord, a chosen people. You know what I mean? Because imagine you can get a bit arrogant. Say, who are these other people? Who are they? I'm chosen from the Lord. God, you created everything. Who are you? But then the Lord did say, but the other nations will be blessed through you. Okay, through who? Through my chosen people. Other nations will be blessed. Blessed in what way do you think? Well, blessed as the Israelites would have been blessed. I mean, to the level, the chosen people of the Lord are different. But the Lord said they will be blessed through you. Okay, so imagine what the world would have been like. I wonder if there's a film that depicts, this would have been from somebody's imagination, which was drawn from the Bible. But has there been a film like that says, what if the Israelites obeyed God? Wouldn't that be an interesting film for Hollywood or Nollywood or Bollywood to make? You know? I think so. So I wonder if there is one. I'm going to do a search and check out of interest, because the films do cover many aspects of the Bible. But I'm just wondering if there's one that says, what if the Israelites obeyed God? And predicts, goes through, well, what would have happened? Well, if they did obey God, well, we can surmise though, can't we? All other nations would be blessed through them. And what does that mean? Well, peace and harmony, doesn't it? Because when we look at the Lord's commandments, his ordinances, his statutes, and his word, it's about peace, love, happiness, morality, spiritually divine. So what is darkness? That's moral and spiritual depravity. So the Bible is defined in Strong's what darkness is. And one of the definitions is moral and spiritual depravity. What is the world right now? Is there any moral and spiritual depravity? That's a rhetorical question. Okay. Right, let's go to chapter 24. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, command the children of Israel that they bring to you pure oil, olive oil, beaten for the light, to cause a lamp to burn continually outside of the veil of the testimony in the tent of meeting. Aaron shall keep it in order from evening to morning before the Lord. Continually it shall be a statute forever. Throughout your generations he shall keep in order the lamps of the pure gold lampstand before the Lord continually. You shall take fine flour and bake 12 cakes on it. 2/10 of an ephah shall be in one cake. You shall set them in 2 rows, 6 on a row, on the pure gold table before the Lord. You shall put your frankincense on each row, that it may be to the bread for a memorial, even an offering made by fire to the Lord. Every Sabbath day he shall set it in order before the Lord continually. It is an everlasting covenant on the behalf of the children of Israel. It shall be for Aaron and his sons. They shall eat it in a holy place, for it is most holy to him. Of the offering of the Lord made by fire, by a perpetual statute. The son of an Israelite woman, whose father was an Egyptian, went out amongst the children of Israel, and the son of an Israelite woman and a man of Israel strove together in the camp. The son of the Israelite woman blasphemed the name and cursed, and they brought him to Moses. His mother's name was Shelomith, the daughter of Dibri, of the tribe of Dan. They put him in custody until the Lord's will should be declared on them. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Bring him who cursed out of the camp, and let all who heard him lay their hands on his head, and let all the congregation stone him. You shall speak to the children of Israel, saying, Whoever curses his God shall bear his sin. He who blasphemes the Lord's name, he shall surely be put to death. All the congregation shall certainly stone him. The foreigner as well as the native born shall be put to death when he blasphemes the name. He who strikes any man mortally shall surely be put to death. He who strikes an animal mortally shall make it good, life for life. If anyone injures his neighbor, it shall be done to him as he has done. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. It shall be done to him as he has injured someone. He who kills an animal shall make it good, and he who kills a man shall be put to death. You shall have one kind of law for the foreigner as well as the native born, for I am the Lord your God. Moses spoke to the children of Israel, and they brought him who had cursed out of the camp and stoned him with stones. The children of Israel did as the Lord commanded Moses. Well, that's all clear. Okay, so one should be watchful of what they say and bring themselves into the light of the Lord and conduct themselves accordingly, as the Lord has stated to the Israelites at that time. So that went a lot. Okay, 56 minutes. Listen, I'm so happy that I was able to read those 4 chapters to you. It's reading the word of the Lord is something that I'm now very comfortable with, and bringing it to my attention and to yours is just like, I wonder what else would I have been doing right now, so I'm so happy that you are here to also enjoy the word of God and let it be part of today, and we can go on with tomorrow, and it will also be fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to it. Kind of also looking forward to the next live stream, which should, take place, as I said before, just going on a general conversation here. I really do want to update my schedule just so that I can be consistent. And for those who want to join me, we know when I'm going to go live and join. So yeah, I'm going to try and do that as the next thing that I really do want to do. But as I said, if you've got any questions, please put them in chat. If you're watching this after the live stream, put them in the comments section and we can discuss. I'm going to leave you now so that I can get on with the rest of my day. And I really look forward to speaking to you soon. Good afternoon. Bye-bye.